There's a current showdown between the White House and the Federal Reserve that should be alarming investors. The economy is on the edge as a major policy clash unfolds at the highest levels of government. President Trump wants immediate rate cuts to ward off the risk of a recession and an economic slowdown, and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, however, is refusing to budge on rates. Their disagreement has sparked a broader debate. Should we act now to protect the economy, or wait until the real damage is already done? Now, this tug-of-war between proactive and reactive policy has real consequences for markets and for your money. With interest rate cuts still likely later this year, many are turning to gold right now before the landscape shifts. And despite pressure from President Trump, Jerome Powell has made it very clear the Fed is not ready to cut rates just yet. He continues to emphasize the central bank's dual mandate of lower inflation and full employment, and he's warning that price stability is the foundation of sustained economic strength. Currently, inflation remains above the Fed's 2% target. Powell expects the Fed's preferred measure of inflation to rise 2.3% in May, with core inflation, which excludes food and energy, ticking up to 2.6%. For now, Powell sees a strong labor market and decent economic growth as reasons to keep the policy steady. And the Fed's benchmark interest rate remains in a very restrictive range of 4.25% to 4.5%, where it's really been since December of 2024. But even Powell acknowledged that rates may be too restrictive in hindsight. But he says he's just not ready to change course yet. If you just look in the rearview mirror and you look at the existing data we've seen, you can make a very good argument that would call for us to be at a neutral level, he said. The reason we're not is that we do expect meaningful increase in inflation over the course of this year. See, President Trump sees it very differently. He called for aggressive cuts of at least 2 to 3 percentage points, saying that lower rates now would save the country $800 billion annually and actually help avoid a future crisis. Frustrated with the Fed's refusal to act, Trump has repeatedly criticized Powell, and his message has been very simple: don't wait for things to go wrong. Cut rates now while the economy is strong, and of course increase them later only if needed. But one of the key reasons the Fed has not moved is concern over President Trump's tariffs, expecting them to create much higher inflation. Powell has said that if not for the inflation risk tied to the president's April 2nd tariff hikes, the Fed would likely have already lowered interest rates. But he said we do expect inflation from the tariffs to show up this summer. We really don't know how much of that's going to be passed on through to the consumers. It could be lower than expected, or of course it could be much higher. We have to wait and see. So that uncertainty is really driving the Fed's wait and see approach. And it's important for investors to note that lower interest rates can weaken the dollar, drive inflation expectations higher, and of course make gold much more attractive. If the Fed waits too long, the economic damage could already be underway in the form of a recession, but if they cut rates too soon, they risk reigniting inflation. So whether you side with President Trump's proactive stance or Powell's cautious approach, one thing is certain: volatility is coming. Now, gold has long been a hedge against inflation, currency risk, and monetary uncertainty, and when the Fed eventually does cut rates, gold often responds very favorably by climbing much higher in value. So if you're concerned about this tightrope that the economy is walking between recession and higher inflation, devaluation of the dollar, gold is a fantastic place to be. I'm Mackay Block with American Hartford Gold. Give us a call today and we'll discuss how adding physical precious metals into your portfolio can give you the hedge that you need.
Discover how gold can help you protect yourself and your family. Call today or visit our website for more information at AmericanHartfordGold.com.